My name is Mia Santos, and I am 27 years old living in the beautiful and sunny city of San Diego, California, where the ocean breeze usually makes everything feel like it is going to be all right. I have spent most of my life here balancing the laid-back lifestyle of the coast with the hard work that comes from my mixed Filipino heritage, which has always been a huge part of who I am as a person. My parents and my grandmother always told me stories about the islands and the importance of family and finding someone who understands your roots and your culture. So as I got older, I really wanted to find a partner who shared that same background. I wanted someone I could talk to about traditional food like adobo and pancit, and someone who understood the specific way our families show love. Being a young woman in a big city can be lonely sometimes, even when the sun is shining, and you are surrounded by people at the beach or the mall. I work a steady job, and I have a good life, but I felt like there was a piece of the puzzle missing in my heart. That was why in October of 2024, I decided to download a dating application called Badoo to see if I could find a connection with someone special. I was not looking for anything crazy or just a quick fling. I was looking for a real human connection with a woman who had a similar heritage to mine. That was when I matched with a young woman named Janelle. Her profile was beautiful, and she looked so kind in her photos with a smile that seemed to light up the screen of my phone. She told me she was a nursing student at a university, and that really impressed me because I know how hard nursing school can be, and it showed me she was ambitious and caring. We started talking every single day, and the messages went from simple greetings to deep, long conversations about our lives and our dreams and our fears. I felt like I was finally finding the person I had been waiting for all this time. We would stay up late into the night messaging each other on an application called WhatsApp because it was easier for her to use since she was busy with her clinical rotations and her studies. I was completely smitten, and I felt a romantic spark that I had not felt in years. Janelle was funny and sweet, and she always seemed to know exactly what to say to make me feel better after a long day at work. She told me about her struggles with tuition and how expensive her nursing books were, and because I cared for her so much, I wanted to help her succeed. I saw it as an investment in our future together because I truly believed we were building something real. Over the next few months from October until February of 2025, I sent her money on 11 different occasions. Sometimes it was for a specific bill, and sometimes it was just a gift so she could go out and have a nice meal or buy something she needed for school. In total, I sent about $768, which was a lot of money for me, but I did it gladly because I thought I was helping the woman I loved. I felt like a hero in a romance movie providing for my partner while she worked toward her goals. But looking back, there were small signs that I should have noticed earlier. She could never do a video call because she said her internet connection at the university dorm was too weak, or she was always in the library where she had to be quiet. She would send me photos and videos of herself thanking me for the money, and she looked so genuine in them, but we never actually spoke face to face on a screen. I told myself I was being paranoid, and that I should trust her because trust is the foundation of any good relationship. However, by January of 2025, my gut feelings started to get louder and louder, and I could no longer ignore the tiny voice in my head telling me that something was not quite right. I decided to do some digging on social media like Facebook and Instagram to see if I could find out more about her life outside of our private chats. I am pretty good at navigating the internet, and it did not take me long to find her personal accounts that she had not told me about. What I found broke my heart into a million tiny pieces. There were photos of Janelle with another man, and it was very clear from the captions and the way they were looking at each other that he was her boyfriend. They looked happy, and they had been together for a long time, which meant she had been lying to me about being single and looking for love. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach, and I could barely breathe as I scrolled through their photos together. I realized then that I had to confront her and find out the truth no matter how much it was going to hurt. When I finally forced the issue and told her what I had found, everything came crashing down in the most unexpected way possible. It turns out the person I had been talking to, for months the person I had shared my deepest secrets with, and the person I had sent my hard-earned money to was not Janelle at all. It was actually Janelle's mother. Her mother had been the one typing all those romantic messages and pretending to be a young nursing student looking for love. She had been catfishing me the entire time by assuming her daughter's identity while the real Janelle was fully aware of what was happening. Janelle had been complicit in the whole scheme by sending photos and videos of herself to her mother, so the mother could then send them to me to keep the lie going. Janelle was also the one who actually received all the cash transfers I made because her mother did not have a bank account in her own name that was easy to use for international transfers. I felt a level of betrayal that I cannot even put into words. Not only had I been lied to by a woman I thought I loved, but I had been tricked by an entire family who saw me as nothing more than a source of money. They had used my heritage and my desire for connection against me like it was a game. The mother had been the mastermind, but the daughter was the face of the operation, and both of them were equally guilty of taking advantage of my kindness. I spent a few days crying and feeling like a fool for being so gullible, but then that sadness started to turn into a cold and sharp anger. I realized that they probably did this to other people too, and they thought they could get away with it, because I was thousands of miles away in San Diego, and they were in a different place, where they felt safe from any consequences. They thought I was just some lonely girl they could bleed dry and then discard when I got too suspicious. But they did not know me very well, and they did not realize that I am not the kind of person who just sits back and takes a hit like that. I started going back through every single message and every single photo they had ever sent me looking for any piece of information I could use to hold them accountable. That was when I remembered a specific photo Janelle had sent me a few months back. It was a photo of a piece of paper on a table, and if you zoomed in really close, you could see her full name and her home address written on it. They had been so careless in their greed that they had literally handed me the map to their front door. I also knew the name of the university where Janelle was actually a student, because she had mentioned it before, even though the nursing student part was mostly a lie to get more money out of me. I had everything I needed to make sure the world knew exactly who they were and what they had done to me. I spent hours organizing my evidence and taking screenshots of the WhatsApp conversations where the mother admitted to the scam and where Janelle thanked me for the money. I had the receipts from the bank transfers and the photos of Janelle with her actual boyfriend. I wanted to make sure that my revenge was calculated and impactful, so I waited until March to set my plan into motion. I decided that the best way to get back at them was to expose them in their own community where their reputation actually mattered. I went onto Facebook and joined several large groups that were local to their hometown. These were groups where people shared news and gossip and looked out for each other. I created a post that included their full names and their home address and the name of Janelle's school. I attached all the screenshots of the lies and the videos of Janelle and the proof of the money I had sent. I wrote a detailed explanation of how the mother and daughter worked together to scam people out of their money by using fake romantic feelings. I posted it anonymously at first, just to see what would happen, but the response was almost instant. People were outraged that members of their own community would act so shamelessly. The post started getting hundreds of likes and comments, and people were tagging their friends and family to warn them about the Santos scammers. I sat in my room in San Diego watching the notifications roll in, and for the first time in months, I felt a sense of power instead of pain. The next day, I received a direct message on Facebook from a woman named Maria. She told me that she used to be a close friend of Janelle, but that they had a falling out a year ago because Janelle was untrustworthy. Maria told me that she had even more dirt on Janelle and her mother that the public did not know about yet. She told me rumors about Janelle being intimately involved with a former mayor of their town and how she had a history of finding sugar daddies to pay for her lifestyle while she pretended to be a hardworking student. Maria was clearly looking for more information from me so she could use it against Janelle, but I realized that I could use Maria too. I knew that if the information came from a local person, it would carry much more weight than if it just came from a stranger in California. I persuaded Maria to take my original post and share it across every single local group she could find. I told her that this was her chance to finally get back at Janelle for whatever had happened between them. Maria was more than happy to help, and she shared that post over 600 times in less than 48 hours. One of the videos of Janelle thanking me for the money reached over 16,000 views, and the comments section was a disaster for her. People who knew her from school were calling her out, and people who lived on her street were talking about how they always knew that family was up to no good. It was like a wildfire that could not be stopped. Janelle allegedly got kicked out of her university, because the school received so many complaints, and they did not want to be associated with someone who was involved in such a public and messy scandal. Her dream of being a nurse, or at least the dream she used to get money from me, was dead. But I was not finished yet because I wanted to make sure they turned on each other the same way they had turned on me. From Janelle's perspective, it looked like I was the one doing all the posting since I had started the original thread. She did not know that her former friend Maria was the one who had turned it into a viral sensation. I decided to reach out to another person named Susan, who I knew was still in the inner circle of Janelle's social group. I truthfully told Susan that it was actually Maria who had been spreading the post 600 times, and that Maria was the one telling everyone the rumors about the former mayor and the sugar daddies. I knew this would create a massive rift between Janelle and Maria, and I was right. Later that night, I logged onto Facebook and watched in absolute delight as Janelle and Maria started a public war on their timelines. They were screaming at each other in the comments and revealing even more secrets about each other for the whole town to see. It was the most entertaining thing I had ever watched, and I felt like a conductor leading an orchestra of chaos. Janelle's family life was ruined because the scandal brought so much unwanted attention to their house, and her mother could no longer hide behind her daughter's face. Everyone in their town knew they were scammers, and their reputation was completely destroyed. I heard from some of the people in the comments that Janelle had a massive falling out with her mother and the rest of her family because they were all blaming each other for getting caught. They had tried to take $768 from me, but in the end, they lost their education and their standing in the community and their relationships with each other. The cost of their scam was much higher than the money they took, and I felt that justice had been served in a very poetic way. Now that some time has passed, I am back to enjoying my life in San Diego. I am more careful now about who I trust, and I have learned that if something feels too good to be true, it probably is. But I am also proud of myself for standing up and fighting back, because people like that rely on their victims being too embarrassed to say anything. I am not embarrassed anymore, because I am the one who came out on top. I still have my job and my life and my integrity, while Janelle is likely still trying to pick up the pieces of the mess she helped create. Every now and then, I think about that night when I watch them fight on the internet, and I can't help but smile. I am a Santos, and in my family we value loyalty and honesty, and if you try to take those things away from us, you will find out exactly what happens when we decide to get even. The ocean breeze feels a little bit sweeter these days, and I know that I am going to find the right person eventually, someone who actually deserves my heart and my support. Until then, I am just fine on my own, knowing that I protected myself and maybe even protected a few other people from falling into the same trap. It is funny how a small photo of a piece of paper can change everything, but I am glad it did because it gave me the tools to reclaim my power. The lesson here is that you should never underestimate a woman who has been wronged, especially one who knows how to use the internet. I moved on a long time ago, but I am sure the people in that town still remember the name Janelle and the scam that blew up her life. That is the best part of revenge. It stays with the person who deserved it long after the person who delivered it has moved on to better things. I have gone back to my hobbies and spending time with my real friends who actually care about me for who I am and not for what I can give them financially. My grandmother always said that the truth has a way of coming out eventually, and she was right, but sometimes the truth needs a little bit of help to get moving. I was more than happy to provide that help and make sure the truth was shouted from the digital rooftops. I am 27 years old and I have a long life ahead of me, and I am much wiser than I was in October. I don't think Janelle or her mother will ever try to catfish someone from San Diego again, because they know exactly what kind of storm I can bring if they do. It was a long journey from being a victim to being the person in control, but it was a journey worth taking because it taught me that I am stronger than I thought. I can handle betrayal and I can handle loss, but I will never handle being treated like I don't matter. I matter very much, and my hard-earned money matters, and the love I have to give is worth more than any scammer could ever understand. I am moving forward with my head held high and my heart open, but my eyes are wider now, and I can see a red flag from a mile away. The weather in San Diego is perfect today, and as I sit here looking at the waves, I feel a sense of peace that no amount of money could ever buy, because I know that I did the right thing. The scammers are gone, and the drama is over, and I am the one who gets to live a happy and honest life while they have to live with the consequences of their own actions. That is the real victory, and that is why I can finally say that I am truly okay. I hope that Janelle and her mother learned something from this, even though I doubt they will ever change their ways, but at least the people around them are warned. My story is one of 100 stories of people getting scammed every day, but mine has a different ending because I decided to write the final chapter myself. It is a chapter of strength and justice and a little bit of well-deserved chaos. I am proud to be Mia Santos, and I am proud of the way I handled myself when things got tough. Life is full of surprises, and not all of them are good, but as long as you have the courage to stand up for yourself, you will always find a way to make it through to the other side. The sun is setting now, and the sky is turning a beautiful shade of pink and orange, and I feel completely at rest knowing that my past is behind me and my future is bright and clear and free from the lies of people who never deserved a second of my time. I am done with that part of my life, and I am ready for whatever comes next because I know I can handle it no matter what. Revenge might be a dish best served cold, but in my case, it was served with the heat of 1,000 Facebook shares, and it tasted like pure freedom. I am glad I did it, and I would do it all over again if I had to, because nobody gets to play with my heart and my life without facing the music, and I am the one who wrote the song they are still dancing to. It was a lesson learned the hard way, but it is a lesson I will carry with me forever, and it has made me a better and more resilient woman. I am ready to close this book and start a new one where the only people allowed in are the ones who are honest and true and who value me as much as I value them. The scammers are just a memory now, and a story I tell to remind myself of my own power, and I am okay with that because the story ends with me winning and them losing everything they tried to steal from me. That is enough for me, and that is where I will leave it as I walk into my future with confidence and grace. I have found my voice, and I will never let anyone silence it again, because I know now that I have the power to change my own world and to hold people accountable for their actions, and that is the most important lesson of all. I am Mia Santos, and I am a survivor of a scam, but more importantly, I am the person who made sure the scammers got exactly what they deserved. And that is a story worth telling over and over again until everyone knows that you cannot mess with a woman from San Diego, California, without paying the price. The end of this story is just the beginning of the rest of my life, and I am so excited to see what is waiting for me around the corner, because I know it is going to be something wonderful and real and filled with the kind of love I have always dreamed of finding. I am at peace, and I am happy, and I am free, and that is the greatest revenge of all. I hope anyone else who is going through something like this finds the strength to stand up and fight back, because you deserve to be treated with respect and honesty, and you have the power to make that happen if you just believe in yourself and your ability to seek justice. Never let anyone make you feel small or like you don't have a voice, because you do, and it is the most powerful tool you have in your arsenal. Use it wisely and use it well, and you will always come out on top just like I did. The world is a big place, and there are many good people in it, so don't let a few bad ones ruin your spirit or your hope for a better future. Keep your head up and stay strong, and always remember that you are the author of your own story, and you have the power to write whatever ending you want. My ending is one of victory, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I am going to take a deep breath of the salt air and let the past wash away with the tide, because I have done what I needed to do, and now I can finally move on to the beautiful life that is waiting for me. I am done with Janelle and her mother and their lies, and I am ready for the truth and the beauty of a life lived with honesty and integrity. This is my story, and I am proud to share it with the world as a warning and as a celebration of the power of the truth. Goodbye to the scammers, and hello to my new and better life, where I am the one in charge, and I am the one who gets to decide who is worthy of my time and my love. It has been a long and difficult road, but I am so glad I walked it because it led me to a place of strength and clarity that I never knew I had. I am ready for anything now, and I know that I will always be okay because I have myself, and I have my truth, and that is all I really need. I am a Santos, and I am strong, and I am free, and that is the best ending I could have ever imagined for this story of betrayal and revenge. I am looking forward to tomorrow, and all the tomorrows after that, because I know they are going to be filled with sunshine and joy and real honest connections with people who truly care about me. I am finally home, and I am finally at peace, and it feels amazing.